Hey everyone, Indie Drop News, my name is Dan. Thanks for joining me. Let's get to the news. This comes by way of Polygon, and they talked a little bit about the 8 best indie games they demoed at the Tokyo Game Show for this year. I'm going to briefly describe some of these games. I'm not going to show you any trailers. If you so choose to go check these out, go to their site and look up this page. But anyway, Rival Megagun was one they demoed. It is a 1v1 split-screen shoot-'em-up game. Big twist on the Galaga premise is what I got from this. You choose from a variety of ships and select your choice of ammo to go along with it. The thing that makes it so interesting is that as you play, you have these abilities to alter your opponent's star field, mainly by throwing more enemies their way, and this includes mini-bosses for them to take on too. So as your meter gets filled up from defeating enemies, depending on your meter size, you can throw small enemies, medium enemies, and mini-bosses, of course. So this game is set to hit PC, PS4, Xbox One, and of course, yours truly, Nintendo Switch, later this year. Fight Night was another game that they demoed and enjoyed. It is a classic dungeon crawling game with, as they word it, punch-out style combat. The art and animations look very crisp despite its classic feel. Music is punchy and subtly familiar. You could say it belongs in Crypt of the Necrodancer. This game is coming to PS4, PC, and Switch later this year. Devil's Engine. This is another shmup, another shoot 'em up to get your heart racing, and the name says it all, really. The game looks intense and possibly one of the most aggravating of its kind. Be ready to spend countless hours completing one level at a time. Again, it is only coming to PS4, PC, and Switch. So some of these other games that they demoed as well is Black Future, which is a platformer, looks really intense again, really cool, very old feel to it. Agartha is a sandbox type game where you manipulate compounds of the earth and whatever with specific characters, and they have different abilities and such as well. Battle Princess Madeline is another platforming type game. I guess you could say it's like a hack and slash platforming type game, which is pretty cool, but we do see a lot of those. Taratica Voodoo, I didn't really read much of just because, I'm gonna be honest, this picture didn't speak to me in any way. So anyway, World of Horror. This is, well, I guess the name says it all as well. World of Horror. It's kind of a horror-based game. They said it's been floating around for a couple of years. And so, yeah, it's in the horror genre. So if you enjoy horror games, be sure to check this out for sure. Moving on to our next story. Making Mulaka, a book, is coming this fall. And if you've ever seen Mulaka, the game, I know it's on Switch. I'm not sure if it's on anything else, but it's pretty nifty, I would say. I plan on picking it up at some point, but anyway, critically acclaimed Mulaka is getting a book published by Select Start Press. Clever name, I would say. They reached out to Lienzo, however you say that, to hear the behind-the-scenes scoop. Making Mulaka is a Mexican tale of the video game and the mighty Tarahumara, I hope I said that right as well, and is written by Christian Cardenas. There is more info on Select Start Press's blog. The book will be internationally available in English for the price of $14.95 through their site or on Amazon. You can also pick up an ebook version for only $10. So if this is something that you're interested in and wanting to see the behind the scenes and just other stories and such about the making of Mulaka, then I'd advise you pick this up and read it for yourselves. So I know it was a little bit of a short news week, but I did want to focus in on a Indiegogo page and or Kickstarter, I guess. Now, I normally do Kickstarters, but I did follow these guys on Twitter. Kung Fu UFO by Retro Nerve. Kung Fu UFO is a new and original video game being developed for the Sega Mega Drive, or the Sega Genesis systems, to be released on a physical cartridge, get that, and also as a downloadable ROM in 2019. Kung Fu UFO is a 16-bit story-driven adventure game heavily inspired by sci-fi and martial arts movies from the 80s and 90s. While not trying to emulate any existing titles, it's very important to Retro Nerve that Kung Fu UFO looks and feels like a game released more than 20 years ago. They've taken inspiration from retro console and arcade games, and also old martial arts and sci-fi movies to craft the gameplay, graphics, and story. The game presents a very nostalgic mix between platformer and beat-em-up genres that will feel both very fresh and familiar. The game's progression is very story-driven, and it includes exploration and some puzzle elements to solve on top of the jumping, climbing, and running. The story is about Yong, however you say that, and the trials and tribulation he will face. Many encounters await him as he tries to find a bandit that kidnapped his mother, and why this beautiful alien-type creature had reached out to him. Our hero will need to travel all around the galaxy to solve a mystery, save his family, and perhaps the entire galaxy. So some of the features that you would get if you were to meet the actual cartridge tier is you would get the 16-bit cartridge, 16-bit pixel art, 16-bit pixel art, 16-bit chiptune music to go along with it, which is fitting, of course. Story-driven gameplay, a main character with lots of different moves, vehicles to drive, and boss fights to win. A lot of different stages, wide variety of enemies, difficulty levels. So yeah, easy on up to like hard or hell, however they want to word that. And then, of course, to top it all off, they will have a password system. So they're bringing back the almost forgotten yet thrilling experience of getting a pen and paper and writing down a code in order to be able to continue the game where you left off. So I will actually go back up here to show you the trailer. That way you can get your fill of gameplay in. Oh, and I can't. Oh, okay. Well, that kind of sucks. Let's see. Can I do this?
I am Sebastian. And I am Javier. And we are Retro Nerve.
So yeah, there you have it, Retro Nerve. I know they're gonna go into some more of it there, but I think this is a really, really cool idea to bring it to the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis. We saw something for the NES. It was like Micro Mages or something like that over on Kickstarter. So it's really interesting to see these people want to make like cartridges and such for older consoles. But I absolutely love the idea. And for those people that have those consoles, like I don't have a Sega Genesis anymore. That's at my parents' house, but it's really cool for the people that want to get back into something like that and use their consoles again. So nostalgic and brings back such good memories. So I know I went through this already, but if you want to support them, be sure to at least get the $10 PDF and art to support them. Let's see what. Yeah, you get the ROM with the $25, which in my opinion is a little high. I feel like maybe they could have given you just the ROM for $15, but I understand there's a lot of work that is put into the games. So, but then another $25 added onto that gives you the cartridge, ROM, and all that jazz. Like I mentioned before, a whole bunch of really cool features for the game, with the game. And let's see, it goes all the way on up to this console collector edition, which would be really, really, really cool if someone actually got this. Kung Fu UFO custom Mega Drive console. How dope is that? Kung Fu UFO boxed with printed material, or manual, excuse me, Indiegogo limited edition. So I think that somebody needs to get that. Like, I actually want to see someone get that and unbox it just to see what it looks like in person. So yeah, anyway, thanks for joining me for my little bit of news. I didn't have much, but I felt like these stories had some beef to them. So anyway, this was Indie Drop News. Be sure to follow me over on Twitter. Like, subscribe, and share this video to everyone, everywhere. And I will see you guys next week.